Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I watched the finale to the Crisis on Infinite Earths episode that was on Legends of Tomorrow. What do I think of the episode? It was the corniest one. Um, it's actually still better than Supergirl and Batwoman. I can tell you that. What I think of this whole thing in a whole, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But this episode wasn't. It was corny. It fit this narrative of Legends of Tomorrow. They did a good job with having them all come together to become. In all honesty, this is their version of the Super Friends. That's who they are now. They are Super Friends. You have Kara and Barry. They're the geeky. They're the geeky, always astounded by everything. You have Superman that's being a little bit more stalwart. Jefferson, who's actually has the years of experience. He's the more grown up. And everything else. So this is their version of Super Friends. Let's be completely honest about it. This is their version of Super Friends. Um, um, it's sorry, my cat's flipping out a little bit, but it's if I was gonna rank this as the best to piss poor, I would say the best episode was The Flash. The next one was the Arrow episode. The third one was Legend Tomorrow. The second one was actually Supergirl, and the Batwoman episode was just terrible. It was terrible. Um, Actually, they're tied. They're tied. Actually, there is no worst one. They're both number two. It's just they're tied. They're not done very well. They kept it with their narrative, and it was just very off-putting. Ruby Rose barely had any lines in the whole thing, which is great. The less talking she does, the better. Um, um, the episode was good only because they kept with that zany super friends attitude with them. Um, but let's get into the whole of the episode itself. It's not a bad episode. They defeated the Anti Monitor. You come to find out that they rebooted the whole universe. They're all on the same universe. So Jefferson's on the same universe as the rest of them. So in all honesty, I think that they're going to do when they do these crossovers, it's going to be a little bit different. And I'll get into that in another video. This actually made me spawn another video. I was only going to do maybe like two or three this today, but this episode actually spawned another one. So, yeah, I'm gonna be doing probably like 4 or 5 today, but I'm gonna try to get these done as soon as possible. The episode was not that bad. They defeated the Anti Monitor. I don't know what they're gonna do with the Flash after this because again, where's the Reverse Flash? Where was Psycho Pirate? They it, Psycho Pirate was actually pivotal in all of Crisis on Infinite Earths. They didn't barely even touch them. So it's like, oh my god. So they used both of them as a pivoting point to actually just say, hey, just watch this because they might be in there. You might know, you don't want to miss it. It's like I hate that bait and switch. I hate that type of nonsense. Just either have them in the episode or you should never have mentioned them. Reverse Flash was be pivotal. He was talked about in the article. They never talked about him. They even stated they wanted they're gonna bring in um Barry and Iris's daughter, Jessica Kennedy Parker, gorgeous woman. But they were gonna bring her in. Never saw her. So it was one of those things that they just brought him in and just they put that stuff in there just to get people to want to watch and didn't have him in there. Um, in my personal opinion, again, this is the third best episode out of the out of the whole thing. But it's still lackluster. I didn't. Now I'm gonna get down to things I really didn't like. The one thing I really didn't like is how they defeated the Anti Monitor. I felt that they really hampered his powers down, what he could truly do. Um, I didn't like how they did that. I thought that they kept him like Superman. All the superpower people should have been a joke to him. He should have backhanded them. And then they made a scene where he grew big, where he did like he did in the comics, and they all had to fly around and try to take him on. That should have been. He should have been. When he started blasting stuff, he should have been leveling the city. That's why I was like, why are they fighting him out in the middle of a? That they could have just had this on another planet. teleported them to a weird planet. Where the hell was Vibe? That was my thing. Where the hell is Vibe? Make them open a portal, and they all go through the portal. They run in, they grab them, and they fly them through a portal, and they send them to another planet, another Earth, an Earth that's eradicated, is destroyed. Who that cares? If that's what happens, that's what happens. It's weird how they did this. Um, the CGI was meh. You could tell it was pretty bad. Um, there's certain parts in there, and I'm not a CGI person. You can kind of fool me, but I mean, but this one was blatant. It was not that good because they had him have energy around him, and the energy actually had the outline, so it really looked like he was not really that tall. And then because of their the interactivity between the flyers and him, it really showcased it. It wasn't done that well. This is where I felt that they should have put a lot of their money into. If this scene was going to be their big crescendo scene, this should have been where another bulk of their money went into. And I could see why they didn't have all the other heroes and they limited it, and that made sense. So they can go concentrate on just that. Um, Now, I'm going to get into the ending of this. They paid a homage to Oliver, of course, but we're gonna find out what happened to Oliver. We're definitely gonna find out what happened to Oliver because he's now dead. He's dead. So from this point forward, it's going to be what's going to be happening with Mia and the rest of them, and them going back into the future. Or they might be in the future already, and we're going to see the formation of the Green Arrow and the Canaries, and then we're going to see the fallout of everything that's happening. So we're going to find out what happened. Oliver's now gone. Oliver is dead in his own series, so he's gone. They can't bring him back, and he has two more. He has three more episodes left in the rest of this season, and we're not gonna have Stephen Amell. We're probably gonna have him, but he's gonna probably be an illusion or something like that. But it's now gonna be all about Mia. They're gonna start setting everything up for Mia because of the Green Arrow and the Canaries. After this last episode, Arrow, I am not watching Green Arrow and the Canaries. I'm sorry. I love Katie Cassidy. I will watch anything with her in it. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She deserves to be the Black Canary more than anybody else because that's why they hired her. But I can't watch this show. I really can't because I know what Beth Schwartz and Wendy Miracle. I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna do a lot of girl power stuff in there, which makes absolutely no sense. Makes no sense. They're gonna take this and they're gonna make it very. I'm not gonna say feminine, but they're gonna make it where the men are dumb. The men are dumb. They're gonna deal with stupid men and stupid villains, and they're gonna badass Mia out to the point where she can basically take on anybody. I can see it coming. I can see it completely coming because they're not gonna follow a decent storytelling principle where just because they're the main protagonist doesn't mean that they have to be the best at everything, but they have to do that or they're gonna lose interest with everybody else. Hmm. So I can't. I love Katie Cassidy. I would love to watch her. I would love to watch her in that series, but I can't. I'm sorry. I even like Julianne Hargavy, but I can't. I'm not gonna watch it. I can't. I'm not gonna give them. I'm not. I'm personally not gonna give them the satisfaction of that. But good luck to Katie. Good luck to Juliana, and good luck to the actress that's playing as Mia. Good luck to them. I hope that the series blows everyone's mind and it changes my mind, and I can come back and go, okay, well, I'll catch up on it. But I have a huge feeling the way they're writing Mia, the way they're the way and Beth Schwartz is writing certain things in this, I can see a lot of stuff coming a mile away. Now, um, what do I truly think of them merging the universes together? I think it's a good thing because now there is no where they at, where's this, where's that, where's this, where's that. Now it's still they can still keep it intimate with the stories, but in all honesty, if something's planet destroying, I think it should be mentioned in freaking the other series now. I think we're past this because a big old gigantic in season one of Flash, a big old gigantic hole ripped apart freaking Central City, but it was never mentioned in the later season of in Arrow. Never mentioned at all. Like, what? Wait a minute. Wouldn't Oliver knew about this? Wouldn't they know about this and be like, hey, what the heck happened over there? And they talked about it in the crossover. That's my thing. That's my huge thing. Um, Stop with this. Keep, if they're gonna do something like if blood work, the whole thing with blood work, if that's happening the way it is, a big old gigantic blood monster is in freaking Central City. I don't know. Wouldn't that be mentioned in Supergirl? Wouldn't that now be mentioned in Batwoman? Wouldn't that definitely be mentioned in freaking in Black Lightning? That something's going on in Central City? Come on, get the news involved. I mean, you don't have to have it where they're interacting with it. Just have a news report. In Central City news, there's these still rash attacks and the undead is coming out of the ground. You have freaking Black Lightning and talk about going, oh man, I hope Barry could take care of that. Like, oh man, if I have to go to Central City every single time, like just mention this a good 30-second mention, and they go, no, we got our own problems, dude. He can handle it. If he gives me a call, that's fine. If something is happening with Lex and Lena, and this whole situation is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, wouldn't wouldn't it be prudent that it would be explained in the Flash or in Batwoman or in, I don't know, Black Lightning, that this is going on? Again, you don't have to have it where they're interacting with the superhero. Just have a news report. A news report would be much more beneficial for us to know that this is still all interconnected. Okay, so um, again, what do I think of this crossover? I'm gonna explain it a little bit more in my I'm gonna explain it in my huge wrap up explaining about the universes together and what they did and the what's this mean in the future? And now what does the DCU have to do with this? Because a lot of them say, "Oh, now we know about Green Lantern and know this." No, you got to look at the context of what they showed. And there's a lot I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to leave it here. I know this is really, really short. I'm very sorry. I know you want me to go into depth, but this episode was a Legend Tomorrow episode, and I don't watch a lot of Legend Tomorrow because it's too zany, it's too corny. And in all honesty, I'm going to be completely honest, and it's no disrespect to Ray Palmer, no disrespect. I'm sorry, no disrespect to Brandon Routh or Katie Lotz or any of the actors or actors on that show. They're playing the characters, they're having fun, and that's all that matters. But this feels like a kid show to me, and I want something a little bit more adult. I mean, I don't mind watching a kid show once in a while, but I like something a little bit more adult. This superhero should be taken a little bit more seriously, and having them do zany things every single day in every single episode, and on top of that, they do dumb things and they don't get called out on it, and he continues to keep doing dumb things. It feels like Barney Fife. It feels like a Barney Fife thing, and it feels like I'm watching Don Knotts and a Don Knotts episode. It just feels like, what the heck am I watching? I mean, in some ways I can suspend my disbelief, but other things I cannot. Um, oh, one thing they did here, they cucked Superman again. They cucked him. They cucked him. They made him useless. That he didn't do jack squat. I'm like, what the heck? They made him useless in this whole thing, and then on top of that, they did a, they said that he doesn't have just one kid. He has two now. He has two sons. What the F? So now this Superman and Lois TV show, they're gonna do his whole thing where we don't know what's gonna happen. Elizabeth Tulloch, or her name, the lady who's playing as Lois, she says she read the script, she read the whole outline, and she loves it and everything else. That doesn't mean jack squat to me. I don't care. I personally don't care. I want to see what the heck they do. And now they have Superman have two sons, and we're getting a TV show off of this. So he's gonna get cucked. I'm sorry, he's gonna get cucked. We're not going to see Superman be Superman because everyone's ingrained to see Superman be, he's useless. And if someone says, well, I mean, they can make it better in the episode, that is a complete suspend of disbelief. That is undisparagable. That means what the heck were they doing him on his other show? That's the whole point of why a lot of us hated what they did to Black Canary on Arrow, because they brought her back in Flash, the Black Siren, and made her a complete badass. And then they were trying to do a redemption story with her, and they muddled it up, and then they finally get to it, and they kind of sped through it, and now she's on the side of the angels. But here's the thing: she's still hard edged, she's still hard nosed, but she's still a kind of a badass. But they still limited her. Her skill level was supposed to be insane. She has powers way beyond the norm. They even stated in Arrow her scream is better than freaking than Dinah's. That this version of Laurel, Earth 2 Laurel, has a better scream than Dinah's. So what the F? What the hell are you talking about? It makes little to no sense. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what they do with the universes, and I'll tell you guys what I think they're gonna be, what I truly now believe, how and why WB allowed them to do this. And it's my speculation. Is not, I don't have any connections into what's going on behind the scenes. If I did, I'll be letting you know about the Snyder Cut a lot better. But I don't, and this is what I think from watching a lot of these shows and seeing the writing on the wall with a lot of things. So again, go watch this episode. It's not that bad. It's not as good as the Arrow episode. The Arrow episode was a lot better than this one, but the Flash episode was leagues ahead of everything there. It was the best episode, the best episode. So now, you guys have a great one. Like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit the bell. This is my second. This is my third video out. I'm gonna have two more coming out, talking about the mergers of the worlds, and also talking about I forgot. I'm gonna look back. I'm gonna see. There was another video I wanted to do, but this one's gonna be talking about the merging of the universes and what I think is gonna be happening. Okay. Oh, is it about the Flash? Yes, that's all gonna be now one whole thing, because it was gonna be talking about the whole situation of what that whole vision of Zach's Flash with Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin's, and how that's all gonna what's going on with that. This now confirms a little, to me, it confirms a little bit more what I'm gonna say, because now I can bridge it all into one. Great, now I can do one. All right, you guys have a great one. Thanks for joining me, and you have a great one. Bye.